Hi, I'm Dan Morris, head of Fearzine magazine, and you're listening to the Scene World podcast.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Hey, y'all, it's the Scene World podcast. I'm AJ, and that over there is Jurg.
Hello.
In a minute, we'll be talking with Fabrizio Rizzo, Giorgio Maioli, Giulia Valentini, and Federica Fringuellini from Small Things Studios, who are the developers of Simon the Sorcerer Origins, which will be releasing. Well, by the time you're hearing this, it will have been out for a bit because as we record it, it's like 4 hours away from release.
Nice.
So we'll be talking to them in just a minute. Before then, we'll do some news.
Yes, I have plenty. Oh my god.
Oh, he's got plenty.
I got plenty.
Oh,
so,
Lordy.
let's burst the bubble, I would say. Bubble Bobble C64 Remastered has been released for a free download on itch.io
Word.
from Dave's Retroforge. And he basically aimed, and I think he succeeded, in making this remastered version closer to the arcade original. Because the C64 can more than the original C64 release offered. So, think of more detailed sprites, better graphic palette use, such things.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever played the arcade version of Bubble Bobble. I've played it on the C64.
I didn't either. Right.
Yeah, I have.
My version was the Game Boy version that I played first as a kid. Yeah.
I think the first version that I actually played was the 68K Mac version. I'm pretty sure there's one of those. And yeah, I played that, and I wasn't. It was okay, but it wasn't. Bubble Bobble gets a lot of love as being like this classic wonderful game. I didn't enjoy it much.
I did, playing against my mom.
I mean,
and
everyone
stuff.
teach their own. Everyone likes what they like. I just, for some reason, I could never. It never felt like that kind of classic to me. But that's me.
We are going more into classics. There has been a trailer for Broken Sword: The Smoking Mirror Reforged. Hey.
Yay!
Yay! Oh, that sounds very
sounded
exciting.
convincing, didn't it? Yeah.
Ah.
Didn't they say when we spoke to
Yeah, he hinted.
Cecil?
He
hinted.
He hinted.
Yeah.
I mean, he mentioned that those reforged versions are basically done to also raise the money to make the next big part of the series happening.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that hinted there might be a Smoking Mirror reforged before the next big release.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
I'm not against it. I'm not against it because as we're going to talk about in the future shortly, that certain games suffer from aging, from getting old, and they will kind of disappear from the zeitgeist, sort of. Younger people will never, won't play these games because they're old. But doing a reforged version or a remastered version or an updated, or a GOG release or something like that, where it makes it accessible for a younger player to come in and just pick it up and play it. Whereas, back when they were new, you'd have to go to the store, get a box with a disc in it or a CD or whatever, and bring that home, put it on the computer, do all that junk. You can now just hop on to a website and download a file, and you've got this game that is maybe older than you are, but it's been fixed to work on modern machines.
Right.
and it. So if they want to, so granted, the reason to release these things, or the Last Ninja remix, or whatever it is, the whilst the impetus to releasing this is money, it also does serve a preservation aspect in a way, not perfect preservation, because it's not the original game, it's been changed, but it keeps the game, it keeps the game in the public consciousness.
True.
So so I don't have a problem with people doing it, even if again, the main goal is to make a couple of bucks off of an IP that has been sitting dormant for a while. Fine, because it's still being made available to new players.
Yeah, well, the IP never has been dormant. I mean, Revolution, they never gave up on the IP.
Right? Yeah. But again, like I said, it keeps the game, it keeps it current and relevant.
Right.
Which is the difficult thing to do with games, because they again, they age out. They get to a certain point where they're not viable, or people just don't know about them because they're old. They've been out of print for
right
however many years, or they've just been sitting around for sale for 100 years and nobody knows about them anymore.
True. 100 years on sale. The creator's long dead.
Yeah, so old Univac games.
Well, next
my
game.
My first game of Pong on the Enigma machine. Next
game, because you mentioned it, is the Last Ninja Collection and bonus games is coming November 27th. And me as a backer already got the Steam code. It's not bad. It's good.
Now, conversely, that individual did not hint at doing another one. In fact, I think he flat out said, we're not going to do another one.
You mean another collection like the Last Ninja collection of other games?
Yeah, there was something. There was like another a game or whatever that you said, well, will you be doing this one next? And they were like,
when would be Vendetta, because it's also similar to Last Ninja. It's using the same graphic engine, but it also has driving parts in it.
Yeah. But Mark Kell was pretty adamant. He's like, we're not doing anything else.
But people are demanding it on the Steam forums, so he might change his mind about that.
Well, and again, market forces will dictate. If there's enough demand for it and there's enough of an incentive to do it, then what people tell us is nonsense.
What I really dislike is they made a very very good emulation, right?
Right.
And the sound is very very good emulated. It's almost like sounding on a real 64, but for the 64 version, and because it's analog, every SID chip sounds different from factory. But they used one with a very, very big white noise. And none of my Z64s, and I have 13 of them, right? With different SID revisions and whatever Commodore produced, ever had such a big white noise.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's unfortunate that they used to use as a role model for the emulation a SID chip that is not in the best shape.
Is it emulated, or is it like are these like converted like MP3 files or something?
It's actually sounding like it's streamed. Like they recorded a stream from a real 64.
That's what I'm saying. Did they record a stream, or is it emulated?
It's sounding like it's a stream they recorded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I could see that. I could see potentially not even the SID being a bad version, but the hardware they're using to digitize it.
No. It's distinctive white noise the 64 had.
Okay.
It's definitely a SID chip that is very from the early 80s model, but very very bad white noise. Oh my god, it's so intensive that one of the worst SID chips they used to stream from, unfortunately. That's just my opinion.
Well,
but hey, at least it's not emulation.
Yeah,
So.
that's true.
But it's like a knack, knack, knack. I'm like, it's not that bad on any of my C64s, not even the Pret bin ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
You know. Yeah, I guess I can make an OBS recording and put it there so people can hear what I'm listening to, what I'm describing. But anyway, it's a good job. It's good CRT emulation, not bad. Really good job. Yeah. Is it preservation like Mark Cale claims it to be?
It keeps it in the zeitgeist.
Yeah,
Again,
right.
To use that word the fourth time in this podcast.
What it is rough is the steering with Xbox controllers, which is the de facto standard for PC.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's really rough. The controls, especially for Last Ninja 1, are already bad. With this one, it's adding another layer of complexity. Holy shit. Get an arcade stick if you want to play the games. I highly suggest that. Also, interestingly, as you know, originally the Spectrum didn't come with joystick support. It was something that the Spectrum was added prematurely, and they added that to the game emulation. That's pretty good. So you can actually play the Spectrum version with the gamepad.
An Xbox controller, yeah.
With an Xbox controller, not bad. Yeah, I'm actually surprised how much worse the Amiga releases were. Oh my god, I had no idea. So the C64 versions are really better of Last Ninja than Amiga, and the release of Last Ninja 2 for Spectrum is surprisingly good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never played it.
The only downside is it has no music in-game music, but hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad actually.
Can't have everything.
Yeah. Well, so and we stay with the thing, and
the thing, yeah.
I found a video suggested to me on YouTube, which is a lawsuit exhibit video in the lawsuit where Capcom was suing the company behind Fighter's history for copying and ripping off Street Fighter 2 characters.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That's a really very good video, and well, it was digitized and rescued, and so, yeah. And next news is kind of bad, because the creator of Dead and Alive and Ninja Gaiden 2024 dies at age 58.
Ooh.
Tumundo Itigachi died. Yeah, and he knew that he would die, because before he died he made a Facebook post that the journey of his life is ending.
The creator of Ninja Gaiden is
2024.
Is only 58 as of this year.
Ninja Gaiden 2024. Yeah, I guess it's
not the original. Not the original.
No, I guess it's but Dead or Alive, everybody should know. It's a very known fighting game series for arcade, for Neo Geo, I believe it was.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's unsure if it's suicide or if he died of an illness,
Oh.
but he announced his death on Facebook before he died, so he knew he was over. Yeah.
Oof, that's a shame.
The circumstances are yet unknown, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's all about games today. The next news is that the first-person shooter Grind has been released at Amiga 40, the big event in Germany.
Is that one of those one of the like the Doom clones that they've made?
Exactly. That's exactly. A first-person shooter named Grind. Yeah. And there is a Wolfenstein clone that has been released for free on Steam by Microprose. Darkenstein, the 3D.
Darkenstein, okay.
Yeah. Trying to make it sound American, because people say Wolfenstein or Wolfenstein, but in German it would be Darkenstein and Wolfenstein. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. And in Germany it's not yet available because they are still waiting for the USK age rating.
Oh.
So for now it's region locked in Germany.
They don't make their own. Germany doesn't have its own rating.
USK.
Oh, okay.
It's our own rating. USK.
I heard USA. I was
USK.
Like, you're waiting for our rating? Like, why the hell would you do that?
USK. Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it last episode in the news section where Hans Ippisch was releasing his book where his game Soldier was the first banned game rated by USK. And they banned it in Germany. Because it was the first game they rated.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Just as a reminder. Yeah. And, well, another news, and that's more in connection to, because you said you like real role-playing games and so on.
Yes.
So, one of the big pioneers in that field, Rebecca Ann Heinemann, is fighting right now aggressive cancer.
Oh.
And she has done her GoFundMe because she wants to survive, obviously.
Yeah, one would think.
I actually posted the link to you on WhatsApp, but you didn't reply to that. I think you overlooked it.
Oh, yeah. When did you send that?
Directly after the Maria interview.
Oh, okay.
Because you were mentioning that you like her games.
Yeah.
You know, the RPG games, and then was like, okay, that's fitting to that news.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I'm looking back out.
Yeah.
There it is. Yes.
Yeah. So
got it.
Yeah. So that's a biggie. Well, good luck, Rebecca.
Yes, absolutely.
And my last news, also about games. We're all about games and indie and new releases and free stuff and wow. So, last bit of news. The indie action game Astra's Fading Stars has been announced, and you can get a demo on Steam or itch.io.
All right.
And it's a kind of fairy tale adventure.
Okay.
And that's my news. That's it.
Very nice. Awesome. I've got one main piece of news for this.
Ooh.
And now by the thing you were just talking about, what was it called again?
Astra Fading Stars. Okay,
and it is when you say a fairy tale adventure, you're not talking about the game Fairy Tale Adventure.
No.
Okay.
It's a kind of game.
It gets confusing sometimes because so many games get remade now that if you say like it's kind of like this game, it's like, well, but is it just that game that's been remade? It's you have to kind of double check because it could be anything, you know. So many things are getting redone. Speaking of which brings me to my piece of news, which is that our old pals at Retro Games Limited have announced the full size A1200.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes, so it
Yes.
is a full size Amiga 1200 style looking case with a working keyboard.
We will invite them for the podcast again.
Please,
Definitely.
It's got a full size working keyboard. It's got 25 classic carousel games. It's got four save slots per game. Play the games that you own via USB stick. Integrated Workbench desktop. Multi-region HDMI video. The classic mouse.
Oh, multi-region! Wow,
that's what it
that's
says.
a first. That's a first.
Classic mouse and game controller are included, so you get both the controller and the mouse. The release detail, it is launching in June of 2026, which includes the full-size computer, mouse, gamepad, and you can pre-order from November 10th. So I don't know when you're listening to this, but
before November 10th.
Yeah, November 10th, 2025 is when you can start to pre-order for the June release. There is a video that they put up, which we'll stick a link to. I mean, it just kind of goes through the thing. What to say about it? I like the fact that, so they did the D64. I've got one back there somewhere in that pile. The C64, there was a mini version. Then they had the maxi, the maxi version.
It's not called maxi.
I know that, but
it's called full size.
People called it maxi, though.
I know, especially the Germans, but it's actually called full size.
Yeah, but so they had the full size with the actual working keys. Then they did the A500.
And they did the VIC-20, which was only released in Great Britain.
Yeah, but the VIC-20 really was just a the 64 with a slightly different label and software.
Exactly.
You know, there wasn't,
and it was only I don't know till this day why it was only released in Great Britain.
Because I think that the VIC-20 was more popular in the UK than it was anywhere else. So
I had to get it from Andrew before they left the European Union.
It's one of those things where these machines, you know, there are machines that Commodore put out like the C16 or the Plus 4, which bombed hard here in the United States, but had like
Eastern Europe.
had success in the UK or in places like
Eastern
Poland
Europe.
or
Eastern
like
Europe.
the Eastern European countries where they were getting things a little bit later than we were. You know, like I've never seen a Plus 4 in person in the US.
I've never seen one in Germany in person. Yeah.
Right, yeah. They did not take off over here. VIC-20s, I've seen a couple. But I've never used one. But yeah, it's just one of those things where the 64 really hit the US market and Europe, and the VIC-20 did better in certain areas, and I would say the UK is one of those areas. But yeah, so they had the 64 versions, and then they did the A500, which is a mini version of the Amiga 500, like I have sitting behind me.
I was pretty disappointed about the games they offered. Yes. Which were mostly releases that were better on the C64 and not Amiga exclusive.
Yeah, well, so the A1200, they say that relive the thrill of classes. Oh my God, can't read. Relive the thrill of classics like Beneath the Steel Sky, Lure the Temptress, Rough and Tumble, Defender of the Crown 1 and 2, the Turrican Trilogy, and the Settlers 2. All preloaded and ready to play. This is my biggest...
Oh, the Settlers 2 is a new game.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they've got like a licensing thing with that. But this is my thing with these.
The two first releases you just mentioned are free on PC.
Yeah. this is one of the things that gets me with these that I don't. This is one of the reasons why that the 64 is still in the box back there, which is that this machine sitting over here, my Amiga 500, that is to me a computer. Okay, that's what I want to use it for. I want to use it to. It's not just. I've got a couple of games. I don't use it for that. I don't know the last time I had a game running on that. It was probably Metro Siege when we talked to them. But I don't.
And
do
soon
much...
Settlers in English.
Well, that'll be emulated because I don't. That's not AGA.
Okay.
But that's what I want to use. I want to use it to do stuff like I use this to go onto BBSs. I've got a Wi-Fi modem attached to it. I want to do stuff like that with it. And the full size 1200, it doesn't really tell me what the ports are. Obviously, it's got USB ports because you can plug in a USB stick or a mouse and all that stuff. They've got to go somewhere.
Tank Mouse they released. You could.
Yeah, I got one of those.
They used they used the Amiga City. The Amiga City gamepad was also released by them. Yeah. So those are the two things they could.
I just I understand that it's for casual people to relive some games that they liked from their childhood. I get that. I'm not the target demographic for this device, because I want to be able to do other stuff with it. I want to use it as a machine. I don't know how the integrated workbench is going to, what that will provide. I mean, if I want to do something in the workbench, usually it's productivity. And you can't, unless they've got new drivers for things that you can plug into those USB ports, unless they've expanded Amiga OS in a way that does, which I doubt they did. But yeah, it looks cool. If you're sorry, if you're an Amiga guy and you miss the old Amiga days, it's cool.
Don't forget to send me the link.
It does not give any pricing data, so
it
says you can pre-order, but it does not say how much the final product will cost.
They never say. But don't forget to send me the links, though.
Yeah, but judging
in the chat, yes, if
okay.
You can. Yeah.
But judging by retro games and their current pricing for things, I don't think it'll be overly expensive. It's not going to be like a Mega 65 where you're putting down.
Of course not. Of course not. Yeah.
It's
all emulator based, and we all know they are using the C64 and Amiga Forever things from Cluento. Right. So you already know it won't be the latest workbench, the latest Amiga OS, because Cluento is not doing that.
Right. Wait. Yeah, who does the newest one?
It's not Cluento. It's a different company I forgot about.
Hyperion.
The Germans. Germans again. Not the Italians.
Good ass OS too. Awesome, very stable, excellent OS. I cannot.
So
say
you already know, as it's coming from Cluento, it will be a classic Amiga workbench and Amiga OS.
Yes. I mean, I think Cluento has the newer. So Amiga OS doesn't make any logical linear sense, because it goes, there's OS 1 and then 1.3 and 2.1 and 3.1 and then 3.5 and 4 and 4.1 I think is the newest one on the Cluento side. But then on the Hyperion side there's 3.12 and 3.14 and 3.2, which are newer. 3.2 is newer than 4.1.
I know you already explained that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a weird little I don't know how they would.
Well, they have different branches, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is why Hyperion is doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Not following the old version numbering, right?
You're right. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, they did their own, but they're it's branched off of. So the Hyperion versions are branched off of 3.1. And then my last bit of news here, which is not really C64 related or even retro related. It's just
Ooh.
something that I thought was interesting. But it is technology related, so that kind of has the thing. AI is the thing these days. There is a lot of shit in the world. Like every time I go online, every time I go on Instagram or anything like that, there are videos that look almost real, and or they look perfectly real, and then I'm like, whatever happened in that video should not happen in real life, and then you look at the
AI.
comments and it's AI, right? So the stuff that AI is able to do is getting more and more realistic because it's training on all this data and it's getting more and more advanced. Here's the interesting thing that I was reading about is that AI is going to run out of training data pretty soon.
I know. Yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah.
And when that happens, it will start training on its own slop. Which means that in the near future, the stuff that AI does could possibly be complete nonsense because it's training itself on its own stuff and then making new stuff to train itself on, which is a really interesting concept when you think about it. Like, what will that look like? What will AI that has trained itself on the stuff that it has created, what will that think of the world? What will that continue to produce after that? So that's my non-retro news, which is interesting. I'll put a link to the thing where it talks about that, where I read that. So,
right, yeah. Last Friday, Retro Games Limited actually released the C64 Mini Black Edition.
Oh yeah.
And last Friday was which day? Though it was the 24th. Exactly, the 24th of October. And the Black Edition actually has
the Halloween edition. Ooh.
Not really. No. It has recent games for the 64 included. Which means Sam Journey, for example.
Oh. All right.
And yeah. And other games like the last adventure game where Oliver Lindau, aka Veto, worked on it. It's
they got to get working on their C128 mini so I can get some good fleet system filer work in. Oh yes, Karen and the Tangled. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good game.
Never played it, but I soon will. I still have it in my box. I didn't open it yet. I will have to.
Get on that, son.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, right?
Yeah.
They made a couple of versions of the game, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Different states.
Oh, interesting.
But Oliver Lindau was graphics and animation.
Yeah. What were the different states of that game?
I guess different. Well, they made a Thank You Edition 2018. I don't know what's the difference between the Black Edition. Yeah. All right, so let's jump now to Italy and talk about Simon The Sorcerer Origins.
Fabrizio, Giorgio, Giulia, and Federica over in Italy.
Bye. Today we are actually talking to the whole artistic department of Small Things Studios, and this would be Federica, Giulia, Fabrizio, and Giorgio, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice to meet you guys. So, as this is actually the fourth time we are talking, kind of, well, the third time was with Inin, your publisher. This is kind of, how to say, to fill the gaps. So it's actually nice to have four of you there to talk to. So, as the game is around the corner, let me ask you first, perhaps, did it turn out the way you wanted to, or is there space for a successor? I think it's also a question of many fans. For example, I think we discussed it once briefly in the Gamescom interview I had with Fabrizio once, that the Simon 3D actually has a threat of open endings, and the game story has never finished.
In some way, yes. I think I can speak from all of our studio when I say that, yes, Simon the Sorcerer Origins came out just as we wanted. We are really happy with the result so far, and we are actually starting to receive the first feedbacks from our players who received their copy a little bit earlier than expected, and they are quite enjoying it, and that's the most important thing for all of us, being us programmers, artists, or designers. Of course, there's always space for improvement in our vision. We always strive to bring to players what they need, what they want from our games. I cannot say much about the future of Simon. All I can say is that we are really proud of what we did with Origins, and for our players around the world to stay tuned.
Right. So you didn't really spend much thought about it, I guess, because Origins is actually a predecessor. So
Prequel.
yeah, prequel. Exactly, even a prequel. Yes, that's actually true, because the story is actually happening before the teenage years of Simon Sorcerer 1, which is, I think, was in 93. Yeah, 93 should be. So I guess, yes, it's more of a lookout at the future. Now the question is, Fabrizio, did you actually play Simon Sorcerer 3D meanwhile? Because I think last time I asked you, you didn't. You said you watched a long play or something.
I did. I also replayed multiple times both Simon the Sorcerer 1 and Simon the Sorcerer 2.
Oh yes, that's clear. Oh, yeah.
I have to say, I still quite enjoy Simon the Sorcerer 1 and 2. I have contrast feelings about Simon the Sorcerer 3D. Let's just stick with that in the meantime. That's actually just a player perspective. As a developer, I respect what the Woodruff and what Adventure Soft did at the time. We actually had the possibility to speak directly to Mike Woodruff from Microsoft. We showed him a bunch of our projects for the future. We showed him the release trailer in a preview of Simon the Sorcerer Origins. He is quite pumped about the idea, and he shared a bunch of anecdotes about the development of Simon the Sorcerer, which we'll keep for us.
Yes.
Because it involves a lot of, let's just say, personal insights about the game, quite funny personal insights about the game. He is a great person who loves what he did and what he created in the 90s, and he also gave us his blessing. He really loved what we did with Origins, and it's been an honor to meet him.
Yes, it was really something to meet the person that created the character, and being the one myself, but all the group that brought him back after so long, and actually have the creator's blessing for our work, and see his appreciation.
Yeah, he actually said something along the line of, we received a lot of art about Simon the Sorcerer, but your version, the version Giulia drew, is the true incarnation, the true modernization of Simon's look. So that's quite a blessing, in my opinion.
That made me emotional, honestly.
I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that the look of Simon Sorcerer, you went a bit different there. That I think, I would say, it's kind of a shading technique for.
Well, they went with like almost hand drawn.
Exactly, for hand drawn graphics. Yeah,
it's all 2D and hand drawn, and we learned a lot from it, and we really like how it came out. But as all artists, we look at our job and we're like, yeah, next time it will be better, and next time it will be better. But we're still very happy with how it came out, and we knew that the decision to change the style and make it so different from the original was a bold one, but we stuck with it, and I think it's paying off.
Well, I mean, it didn't go quite well with other games like Return of Monkey Island, for example, where it was hated for the graphic style.
It's a matter of preference, honestly.
Our director loves to say one thing, and that's it all depends on how you do the things you want to do. Actually.
Yes.
So
it's all about how you do it.
Yeah, it's all about that.
Right. Anyway, let me ask you about that, because I tapped into that a bit. Whose idea was it to actually have some kind of you changed the outline based on the environment, which is quite unique for this kind of graphic style. I mean, I've never seen a game doing that before. You know what I mean? Normally, outlines are black, but in Simon Sorcerer Origins, at least what I saw at Gamescom, which was the full version, I believe, that we played, kind of change the outline of the characters based on the lighting of the scene you are in. So it could be white or yellow or something. And I first thought it's like a graphic glitch or whatever. And then I was told, no, it's actually a new graphic engine feature or something.
Yes, it was made, like, it was a graphic engine made by rough programmers to like enhance some lighting features of the 2D that we wouldn't have otherwise. And it was a good test, I think. We had mixed feelings about it ourselves, but I think the end result really pays off. It looks good while you play it. It makes it feel very alive. Even if it's still images, it wouldn't work, but it does work very well in motion.
Yeah, it actually enhances quite a lot the feeling that we wanted for the game to be like playing a fully animated movie. The character actually harmonizes very well with the environments.
Since it's 2D, we didn't have like dynamic lighting that you would have in a 3D environment. So we simulated that with some tricks.
We worked around that, and our technical department actually did a great job with that. We actually had to test it quite a lot, but the end result was really, really good.
And
I guess it's kind of like a dynamic.
Yes,
it's dynamic to the rest of the game. Yeah,
it's some form of fake dynamic lighting.
Yeah, it's custom made for our engine.
I mean, it's not the first time somebody did that. I remember that Thimbleweed Park did that in 2017. They also had the dynamic lighting, but for their pixel graphic.
Thimbleweed Park.
Oh,
Thimbleweed Park, yeah.
They actually did something very close to that. But as you said, it was made to the pixel graphic of the game. We actually, I think, we pushed a little bit further with our custom engine that we made for Simon The Sorcerer Origins.
Interesting. I found the game preview, that the announcement trailer. One of the negatives that was mentioned there by many of the gamer community was like the way Simon walks is sluggish and stuff. But then we have to take into account the age of the protagonist for this trailer, and you kept the way of him walking. Actually, the walking animation kept the same. I saw you never like made it, more realistic or whatever. He's still that
animation
sloppy walking cycle still there.
Yeah, the animation was based on the one from the original game that was like very clunky, and so we wanted to keep that as like a trait of the character.
Yeah, also Federica did a great job to keep the characterization of the character both in his in the way he looks and in the way he acts most for the entirety of the game, not just during the custom animation, but also during the more standard animation, the way he talks, the way he looks, the way he walks, the way he runs. They're all parts of the characterization of the character himself. We wanted to keep that aspect.
So how do you spread those artistic tasks among the four of you? As you said, you are the whole artistic department. I guess there isn't much more involved those than you four people. Is it like somebody is giving the, I don't know, the draft, and then the others try to copy it and continue it, or
We
did
all
you part
have,
it in four, or
we all are from very different departments. Like for example, Giorgio's work is not really tied to mine in terms of what we are working on at any given time. It all comes from the design of the game, of course, and we work from that. So it all comes from this guy here.
Then we have Giulia, who worked on the environment and the character design. Giorgio worked on the sound part, so he made all the music of the game, most of them. He worked with the dubbing sessions along with me, and also cured the soundtracks, also the soundtracks, and so on. And also Federica made most of the animations of the game that you see. We actually had an external studio who worked with for the full motions of the game. It's a great Italian studio called Animago.
Yes.
They worked on a couple of very well-known projects such as Klaus for Netflix. At the time, we were a small team, actually. It was just like the four of us plus a couple of people. Nowadays, we are a lot more people in the studio, and we actually tend to distribute our tasks a little bit more. Actually, they do. Giorgio is still the only sound designer we have, and I'm still the only game designer of the game. So, more work for me.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. Interesting.
Now, you mentioned we mentioned before this is a prequel, this game, to the main series. Why did you go with a prequel instead of like doing another sequel in the series?
We felt like another sequel after the fourth and the fifth installment, and after the fact that they came out a lot of time ago, it was not quite easy for new players to approach Simon's story and to feel invested in it. We wanted to restart, to reshape Simon's story, and to create a bridge between the older games of the series and the new generation of players, but also give a new way to see something they love to the older players, the one that already knew Simon and that wanted to discover a little bit more about the character. We checked with the authors, we took a look at the first two installments of the series, and saw that there were a bunch of questions that may need an answer or two. For example, why does Simon already know the magic word? Why is he brought into the magic word? What does he have to make him so special? And so on. These were the first questions we asked ourselves, And from then on, we actually developed the concept of the game. We talked to the authors of the game, especially Mike. He was pretty invested in the thing. He liked what we were doing. We kept him updated during the development phases. And that's the reason because of which we started from a prequel. I think we were able to actually make something that new players and older players can enjoy. One thing that we love to say a lot of time is that we would actually like to see older players play Simon Origins with their kids, showing this IP that they love so much, but they can also restart this whole saga. They can learn about the characters, about the magic world, and all these little things that we wanted to tell about the game, about the world itself.
It's actually a really good endorsement for why prequels can be a good thing, because a lot of times in a lot of media you see prequels kind of being pushed out, and there's like some question about why do we need another prequel. But it also, as you mentioned, it allows a new player to come in with no knowledge of the game. You don't need to know what happened in the other episodes because they haven't happened yet. But if you do know what happened, then it adds more context to what you're playing. So it's actually really good for both groups of people that have played it and are new.
It all depends how you do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we made Simon Origins by putting a lot of passion into what we were doing, what we do every day actually. So we are actually pretty proud of what we came up with.
Right.
But if this game is a success, a very good success, people will expect a successor that actually, takes on the open trails of the Simon Sorcerer 3D.
Well, so how far in advance of the original game does this take place? Like, where in the timeline is this?
It's actually set some weeks before the events of the original Simon. We took as a starting point for the saga what was actually said in the original manual of the game, which talks about Simon's birthday and about the fact that he received a mysterious dog with a mysterious book with it. And we took that as a starting point. And from that point, we went back a couple of weeks and we decided to tell this small story about Simon, about what happened to him in the magic world.
Wait,
all right, cool.
That mysterious book.
What is that mysterious book?
What is a dog?
You have to play Origins to learn about it.
Jumping back to what Jörg just said before, it would be difficult, I would think, because it's so close to the original game. It's where would you even fit in something else in between this and that? You could go for another prequel, but again, he's a kid, so at some point that prequel is going to be, you play as a sperm cell trying to get to an egg.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't go more back than this, So at some point you will have to.
You can always find a space if you are true to what you want to say about the character and the events that surround it. So that's my opinion in terms of finding a space for a prequel, a sequel, or an interquel.
But also expanding a lot the world of Simon.
Yes.
Instead of just with all the love in the world, the random stuff that was in the original game. We are giving a little bit of context, a structure to it, making things work narratively.
Yeah.
And just some fun stuff that we have planned.
Now, you mentioned the random stuff in the other games. So the early ones had kind of a very particular sort of British humor to them a little bit,
Yeah.
And that changed as different developers took over the sequels and so have you gone back to that original sort of humor style, or are you doing your own like putting in your own sort
we
of
wanted
humor to
to
it.
bring back that original British humor of the first two installment of the game. What we did was to actually bring Simon to a more contemporary kind of both humor and way of talking to a character. I love the original installment, but they were actually fruit of the time in a way.
In some ways.
So we get that sort of humor. Simon keeps on breaking the fourth wall. Simon is a snarky, sarcastic teenager. He has that sort of dry humor.
He's absolutely insufferable.
He's insufferable.
Yeah. I think even like Simon 5 was, someone called that like the humor mediocre in it. You know, it was
The
making
Germans.
a turn. Yeah, the Germans. Okay.
Hey, we are receiving good reviews
About the humor.
Very good
People
reviews about
are
the
actually liking the kind of humor. One thing that I quite enjoyed was the fact that Mike laughed at a couple of our jokes in the game. So we also try to put some little reference about contemporary pop culture in the game. Just tiny bits. We do not want to transform the humor of the game into a reference festival. We wanted to put some tidbits of that, but mostly keep the original dry, sarcastic humor of the game, and we just toned it a little bit lower because we do not want to have a 12 years old talk about the curves of a woman, or some sort of jokes about drugs, or some sort of jokes about, let's say, not acceptable terms in the current day time. Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting that you mention it, because I saw a comment recently about the Simon The Sorcerer series, and they said that especially the first two parts of the series, there were many racial jokes about black people and stuff that would not be acceptable nowadays. So
the author himself said this to us. You cannot bring back every single joke of the original, because time changes and we move forward, actually. So that's the sensibility of the people, rightfully so, of course. But we were able to keep that kind of humor into the game, just without offending anyone.
It's just about the core of it. I think we think that the humor part is not dependent on that level of, shall I say, offense. And I mean it in the most generic way. The humor is there, and it's, as Fabrizio said, as dry and sarcastic and as cutting as ever. It's just less, offense.
Yeah, you don't actually have to make a racial joke to make people laugh. So.
Right, yeah.
Also, I don't want a 12 years old teenager to be cancelled in 2025. So. I'd like to work again with Simon. So.
Right. Yeah. You are bad because you played the Simon The Sorcerer Origins game, right? Exactly.
Not like that, and I think that also if Simon was to be made, I'm talking about the first installments of the series during these days, so in 2025, also the Woodruff would not dot that kind of old jokes inside the game themselves. So it's just a matter of moving forward and get aligned with the time we are currently living in.
I mean, let's be honest, I have been 14 at the time the Simon Sorcerer 2 was out, and I was playing both of the first Simon Sorcerer games, and I couldn't care less. I mean, honestly, I never thought about
that's you, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's about the personal sensibility at some point, but there are objectively sexist and objectively racist in some cases. So you cannot put that. Not just because it's not good to put them into your game because it's racist and it's sexist, but also
Right.
because in many cases, rightfully so, again, the how can I say, the rating corporations, the rating systems won't allow you to publish the game you want to do. You won't publish in some cases.
Right. Right.
Of course, there are bad jokes that you cannot say.
Right. Yeah. It really depends. That's correct. That actually bears the question. I don't know if you even can answer that. Why didn't the Woodrows continue their series? Why did the IP go to Italy?
So the Woodruff did not continue with the IP because of the fact that simply, I mean, that's just my speculation, I think, they simply grew older. They went for another path with their lives. Some of them still works in the gaming industry. Some of them do not do that, and some of them simply grew older in some cases. It was not easy for us to convince them to give the IP to a bunch of Italians. They loved Simon the Sorcerer. They loved that kind of humor, and they got, how can I say, let's just say, a bit burned when they gave the IP in the past to other studios. I'm not gonna say that Germans can't write good jokes, but just kidding. I'm just kidding. But they did not really like what the previous studios did with IP. So it was not easy for us to convince them. We had to show them what we were doing. We had to keep them updated on the development of the game. We actually sent them multiple artworks of the game,
the script, copies, and eventually played the game.
Also. Actually, one of the things that I really keep close to my heart was the day we sent the full script of the game to Mike Woodruff, and he said, just in case he did not see the character there, he maybe wanted to make some tweaks here and there, and I was ready for him to do so, actually. But then he said, it's all good, I quite like it, it's already the kind of game that I was expecting, the kind of script that I quite enjoyed. So that was really important for all of us because we knew by that phrase and the many other things they said about the artworks, about the sound of the game, that we were into the right direction, actually. And that's something that we will keep on doing with Origins. And whatever happens, we know that we did what the author wanted.
Like, again, it's a matter of taste. People may not like a game, maybe may not like the art style or the jokes or the puzzles. Like, it's a matter of taste, right? But we know that the original creator of Simon liked what we did, and I think for us as creators, that's the most important part, that we honor that legacy.
It's cool. That's quite nice.
So we've talked about the graphics and some of the gameplay and the humor. Let's talk about the sound design.
Exactly, because
we haven't
especially you said in the last interview we had at Gamescom 2023 that you can't talk about the sound design, especially the music, because it's top secret. So
we had a couple of things that we could not say at the time, but that we can actually share nowadays. So,
can we share about the song?
Can we share about the song? I think so.
I mean, now it's almost out. I mean, when this interview is released in November, it's certainly out. The game.
I mean, what are they? Before you were here, Jörg, what is it, like 7 hours? It's out.
Yeah, kind of. Like
6 hours.
Yeah, 6 hours. Yeah.
You see?
So one of the big things is that we have a special appearance of Rick Astley in the game. with
Yep.
in
I was gonna ask about that. Why?
Yeah.
How did that happen? How did that come to be?
I think it was quite difficult. I'm not the person that managed to snatch that song, so I can't really speak about it. But I know it was quite difficult to get Rick Astley on board for this, because licensing a song from Rick Astley, it's not an easy thing. Yeah,
It's expensive.
Besides that, it's not an easy thing. Yeah, but the song was chosen because it kind of embodies like the spirit of the time, and we felt it was actually very good for not only the prequel but Simon in general. Like it's that kind of song that a kid at that age in that period of time could actually have listened to on his Walkman, which is what he did. So yeah, it was crazy, but it worked. So yeah, that was great, and that was the main secret.
Yeah, that was it. Also, we had a couple of secrets at the time about the voice actors for Simon.
Yeah, we couldn't reveal about the return of our beloved Chris Berry voicing Simon, which was a blast to have. It was great. He's just like a great guy in the studio. It was very enjoyable to work with him when we did. Well, the dubbing session was great for every character, but with Chris Berry was just amazing. Very good, very good. It was as funny and as like his delivery was so like quick and dry and witty. It was great.
Interestingly, I don't know if you even can talk about that, but at Gamescom this year, when we spoke to your publisher, Felix Wagner in person, he said that because of licensing costs, you couldn't put the Rick Astley song on the OST, on the original soundtrack CD. That's surprising me, because if you already have the permission to put it in the game, wouldn't it be easy enough to also include the license on the original soundtrack CD?
Licensing is a tricky thing. You have to be very respectful and careful with the license you actually get. So in the case of Rick Astley, since he's incredibly famous and renowned, we had our limitations to work with this music, which was already great. So that was amazing. And yeah, of course, we couldn't put it on the soundtrack, but that's fine, because everyone can listen to that song if they want. So that's great. That's already amazing.
And most importantly, it's in the game, which
It's
is
in
the
the game,
most
yeah.
important thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the important. Now, for the non Rick Astley sound design, what approach did you take when developing like the music and the effects and everything else that happens with this?
For the music, I actually worked with another composer as well, Jason Fisher, which was great at reimagining the original team of Simon. And then I chimed in with other extra music. So it was a lot of taking inspiration from Simon, the first one, especially, and taking some of the tunes from the first one, the main theme, but also things like the tavern theme, the swamp theme, and all that kind of stuff, which were great. And just taking some like bits and pieces here and there, and like using them as a reference, but also developing a lot of new music based on the theme, and kind of like trying to make you feel like this is different, but we're still taking inspiration from that sound-wise and putting it in a modern context with orchestra and stuff. So it was great and it was fun, and the music in the original was very creative and very different in each section, and we kind of tried to do that as well. For the sound, since the game is full 2D animated, I had the great fortune of working on already done animation by Federica. So I had a lot of, I could already see what Simon was doing, what was happening on the screen, and building the sound on top of that, just like, an animation, a shorter movie, an animation. So it was very natural in general, because you have a great basis with the animation, and then you can just build on it.
Right.
Excellent.
Just one question: is it also for you, AJ? Because I lost Fabrizio in my video frame on
Yeah,
the
yeah, he
picture.
moved off to the side so that Giorgio
Yeah.
could move
Yeah.
up.
Going to let you
He
talk
disappeared like a
a
mercenary.
little better to Georgia. Also, as said before, I was checking my emails because we are receiving quite a lot of emails about Simon Origins just before the release of the game. So I'm monitoring it just in case we receive some email about how's the game going, and maybe some reviewers has some last minute questions about the game.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean because we received the same email about our review. Like, yeah, if you have questions, email them. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's true. But well, at least when it comes to feedback, you didn't have to do crazy measurements like shutting down your blog comments like Ron Gilbert had with.
Right.
no,
Well, and they were
do such a thing. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and they can share. Well, they can share them as they.
Yes, as long as everyone remains civil and
Exactly, that's a problem sometimes. Remaining civil. Yeah.
yeah, and they were saying too before you joined the podcast before that they really worked hard to make sure that they put out a game that didn't have to be fixed later on. Right? Can we
Yeah.
mention
Yeah.
mention that
We
again?
put a lot of effort during the QA sessions just to make sure that we do not brought to the market an unfinished game, a game that could not be completed, or that had a game-breaking bug or of some sort.
yes.
We wanted to create a fully enjoyable experience just on day one. We will have a day one patch with the release of the game, but it will not have a major fixes of any kind for the game. It will be just a couple of tweaks here and there for you to enjoy the game at its best, actually, but nothing more than that. We really paid a lot of attention to that because, of course, we want people to enjoy the best version of the game as possible on the release date of the game.
Yes.
Even though a lot of people are actually already playing the game because they
Yes.
they received their copies
So,
a bit
at
earlier
least
than expected.
that's the thing,
Yeah.
right? As a gamer, the worst thing is when you go to play a game and you have to download a huge day one patch because the game is
Exactly.
released. So at least the people that are already receiving it, at least they're playing it and it works.
I actually received a couple of messages from players that already completed the game.
Wow.
They're
Yeah,
speedrunning.
no, not speedrunning it. They're actually pretty much in line with our
Yeah, they
expectation
are.
for the game, about 10 to 12 hours of
Yes,
gameplay
of course.
during a normal playthrough. They are quite enjoying the game, and that's very, very cool for us.
Yes. Seeing all the people pop up with messages like, "Oh yes, I'm really liking it. It's just really really good."
Yeah.
After so many years of development to
Yeah.
see.
It's actually interesting that you mentioned the years of development because you actually decided to give it another year because it was supposed to come out earlier. But from what I was told at Gamescom with Innen, that you switched publishers because you had a different vision, a different, how to say, vision of how the game should should be in the end. I don't know if you
Yeah,
can
during the
tap
uh,
into that.
we actually had to we switched publisher. We went with Inin, which is a great publisher. It's full of people who share our passion for Simon, for our IP. We worked really well with them to bring Simon to the players around the world. We really love what they let us do with the physical versions of the game. I actually have here the deluxe edition of the game. It's
Yeah,
signed
I
by.
got it too for the PC. Yeah.
Oh, great,
Nice.
great, great! This is the PS5 version.
Ah,
Yeah, I also have the Switch version, and I'm planning on buying a PC version of the game just because I want it. We really like what we are doing with Inin. They're talented people. They're people with passion, and that's the most important thing for us. And it is very much closer to our vision, to what is our vision for Simon the Sorcerer Origins, and for what we wanted to bring to the players around the world. And I think we pretty much were able to do so. A little piece of advice in case you have the physical version of the game: before you start playing it, read the manual. There's something for all of you inside. You might enjoy it.
Good.
If you already have it,
Okay.
Good hint.
just read it.
We worked hard on it. We put a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there are a lot of little Easter eggs in the physical versions
For
of the
even
game.
extra content sometimes.
Well, in some cases, yes. To actually experience no, I'm not gonna say that. They will have to learn it by grabbing the copies of the game. No, I'm not gonna share that. It's an Easter egg for all of you around the world.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mention it, and that you like how the physical version turned out, because Inin is also owner of Strictly Limited, which is known for, publishing or republishing retro games, for Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, and the likes. So they actually know how packaging works and all this,
Yeah,
So-
and they actually did a great job. We recently received on our Discord channel for Simon the Sorcerer Origins, which you can all join, a photo by a fan who put his entire collection of Simon the Sorcerer, and we saw our deluxe edition with all of them.
The box of Simon Origins there, just beside the Simon the Sorcerer 1 box, and it
just
looks really good.
Yeah, it goes so well with the older big box, and it's so cool for us.
It's actually an upgrade, yeah. Because even the Simon Sorcerer 3D didn't have a big box release. Yeah.
This is actually a bit smaller than a big box, if you saw that already, but it goes well, actually.
It's a medium box release.
Medium large.
Right.
You must.
Large enough. Some would say.
Yeah.
Right.
Just enough.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I wasn't so lucky when I got my copy of Simon Sorcerer 3D, because my manual that I received with Simon Sorcerer 3D had some pages missing and some other pages being in there twice. So actually,
Wow.
I had to email the Woodroofs and get a PDF version of the manual.
Wow.
Wait, that was from the factory that you were missing stuff?
That was from the factory.
jeez.
I mean, it was shrink wrapped from the factory, so nobody
Lord.
else opened it before me. So
That's so
But
weird.
you won't have that problem with Simon Origins.
No.
I can assure you.
yeah, no such problems. I already skimmed through the manual. No double pages, no missing pages and stuff. Yeah. But
Also,
I mean,
keep in mind
the
note pages.
Yeah, I mean, the problem was Simon Sorcerer 3D was so unsuccessful, you couldn't just go back then and say, I want another copy where this has been rectified. It was like, no, I need to email the creators at AdventureSoft and ask them for help. So it was a bit difficult. I mean, those were the early 2000s. It's not like...
But you wanted the packaging even for the 3D one? Because the 3D ones are never good.
Yeah, I mean,
Monkey Island did that too. Monkey Island was great, and then they did a 3D version on PlayStation.
I know.
And then they were like, "Yeah, don't ever do that again."
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, the problem there was actually not the 3D, because every game was 3D back then, and Grim Fandango, for example,
and that was the
very
problem, is
successful.
that everything was 3D, and everyone thought, "Oh, this is the way to go," and it just doesn't. Like things that have a distinctive art style, like your Monkey Islands or Sam the Sorcerer, where it's got a style that is associated with it. Like you guys, yeah, you've reverted to the hand-drawn style, but it still has echoes of that original style.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
you can see the lineage between them.
Yeah.
Whereas 3D, it doesn't translate.
But the story of Simon Sorcerer 3D is a bit more complicated, and I know that because I read an interview in a German PC Games magazine back then where the Woodrows explained the problem, and that was that originally the game was released in it was designed and developed in a 2D pixel graphics, but at that time they decided, okay, for the publisher we actually have to change and make it into a 3D game. So the engine was already outdated at the time of development, and that was basically the problem. I mean,
Yeah,
if you
it
look at
was
the graphics, even there,
Oh, yeah, you sent me a picture of that. Oh, yeah, that was terrible. Oh, that's
I
right.
know.
was a
Yeah.
mismatch of the needings of the publisher at the time and what they really could do and wanted to do with Simon the Sorcerer. They
Exactly.
were actually more prepared and they wanted to make a 2D game, but it was the time where everything needed to be 3D because the market asked for 2D, even though
Right.
3D games were not that good to look at the time, especially in the case where you had something to compare them to. Uh, we had Sam the Sorcerer 1 and 2, which for the time were actually pretty good to look at.
They are still beautiful.
Yeah, they're actually pretty good to look at. And then you have to transition to 3D in a time where it's not really that good. We saw that also in cinema, and we saw that with other IPs. Think about the time where they made the first Street Fighter, was made in 3D graphics. It was not that good to look at, and there are multiple examples like this in the market. Actually,
yes, it's the point where you go from an art style that it's beautiful, but it's based on the fact that that is the kind of technology that you had, which allowed you to do 2D games. Then 3D comes up, and everyone wants to do 3D because it's the hot new thing. But it you don't know that it doesn't serve you what you want to do, because what you were doing up to that point was based only on the limitations, not on specific vision. Right now, we are in the moment where 2D games are well accepted, even if
Well,
sometimes
not only that, but the market has changed because
market
again,
has
3D
changed.
when that came out, that was what everything had to be because that was the
Yes,
new
exactly.
thing. But
Right now, instead, you can have beautiful 3D games and beautiful 2D games, and it all depends on
yes,
the artistic vision you put into it.
right. You think that frees up developers and artists to really
Explore.
experiment and try new stuff because there
Yes,
is no like it has to look like this. It has to be
exactly.
2D. It has to be
That's why
3D. It
you
can
have
be
so many different art styles and games of shapes and sizes right now that are doing great because they look great.
right.
They also they play great.
Yeah, there were some games. I edited when Jurg came back from Gamescom. He sent me the videos to edit, and there were some games that they looked at there that had really interesting, anime styles, and like really well animated and well, conceived ideas that didn't fit within the 3D or 2D or anything. It was almost like playing a TV, like an anime show or something.
Yeah,
Like yeah.
it's
Yeah,
good
I guess
for artists right
especially.
now in terms of artistic expression, what you can do and
Right.
what you're allowed to do.
Yeah, and I mean, we also have to take into account that point-and-click adventures are on a hot spot at the moment, in a hard place. I
What?
mean,
In a hard place.
I
That's
mean, I
that's
mean,
I don't think
yeah.
you're using that right.
Well, I mean, I think I'm using that right because every year there's another genre of games that is supposed to be dead.
Hmm.
And I remember it started with point and click adventures, like nobody's interested in point and click adventures anymore, you know? And then and then some years later real time strategy games were cancelled because nobody's interested in that anymore. And this year seems to be the year where many racing game series are cancelled, you know? I mean, EA is talking about canceling Need for Speed because nobody's interested in racing games anymore. So, and now we are full circle, and now more and more point-and-click adventures are coming out again. I mean, you
Old
know,
friends.
and
Yeah,
it's interesting because this fact that nobody's interested in that anymore, even Ron Gilbert used that in his trailer for Return to Monkey Island, where he said, like, in our interview also, there will never be another Monkey Island. So people were like, there will never be another Simon the Sorcerer game. And here we are with another Simon the Sorcerer game. So it's interesting that nowadays long believed dead IPs are resurrected, and some new people, new faces are doing something with it. I mean, let's be honest, most of you are probably too young to have played the first and second games when they were first released.
I
I
sure
mean,
was. I sure
Yeah.
was.
you
Maybe
see, yeah.
Georgio was born in this.
Yeah, but I was like 4, so
You could play Simon.
yeah, I guess.
4 years
I'm 4 years.
Yeah. So it's interesting, you know. So it's interesting. A new generation of game creators is now concentrating on re-aliving IPs that they have never been emotionally connected with, and that's quite interesting, I would say.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that we are never
Yeah.
emotionally connected. It's something that for some of us, they discovered that Simon during development or at the start of the project.
Yes.
Some of us already knew that. I think that Giorgio already knew the IP.
Yes.
I already knew that too, but I'm also known as the Wikipedia of gaming inside the studio. So, which I'm not quite sure if it's a compliment or some sort of offensive joke on my part. So let's stay.
Plus,
let's
good
stay.
games are good games, depending on whether they're old or not. You know, I feel like a lot of people discovered some of these games in re-releases because you know you've got places like what is it? Your GOG,
GOG.
GOG?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That puts out you know where people kind of re-release these old games in forms of people that you can play, and younger people are discovering these games because it might be old. It doesn't make it not a good game.
Yes,
No,
exactly. And it's not like the fault of the people that weren't there at the time, that they weren't there at the time.
No, also it's like what happens with a movie or with a book. It might be
Right.
a bit classical, it might be a little bit older. In some cases, it might be a little bit clunky or corny, but that does not mean that it has not quality or it's not a good game at all. Also, we are moving forward into a direction where the lifespan of a game tends to be limited in a way. Games tend to become older with requiring a lot of time. Games from the late 2010s are still pretty good to look at and pretty good to play at. Take for example The Witcher
The Witcher
3
3
or
could have come out yesterday for how it looks and how it plays. So.
the Last of Us saga is
Yes.
on par with that. Some adventures are pretty great. Some 2D games are really great to look at and to play to these days. I'm thinking about Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm thinking about the Hollow Knight series. And I'm also thinking about Return to Monkey Island, which I think would require a lot more time to get older.
Yes, there's 2D games have a very good advantage over 3D games. 2D and stylized games, even 3D, they don't get old. Some times ago, I was replaying Alice Madness Returns, which is one of my favorite games, and it really hasn't aged. Like if you slap some more HD texture on it, it's a new game. It's great. And
Right.
the stylization and even the part where the 2D games, the graphics don't age. It's not like CGI that becomes obsolete. Like I don't know, in old movies or games that you can see, oh, that was made a long time ago. If it's 2D and it's well drawn, it's well drawn.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned, you know, you compared it with movies and whatnot because it is kind of the same. It's all storytelling.
Yes.
You know, whether it's a game or a movie or a book, it's all storytelling, and it's a shame that a lot of games are, as you mentioned, don't have the longevity because of, you know, developers stop supporting them and take the servers down, or it's no longer, you know, the hardware doesn't support it anymore or whatever. It's a real shame that a lot of this stuff kind of falls off in games. But yeah, and again, the 2D, the stylized graphics like 2D, they don't get old because 3D, like 3D games, that's the best we can make it look. That square looking dude with a polygon head is the best we can make him look. Whereas 2D, it's like we can go to town making this look how we want because that's the style we're doing
Yes,
it in.
that's what we decide exactly.
Yeah, totally. Also, these days you can play as our we in the first place tend to accept a more variety of styles. A long time ago, I'm thinking about 15 years ago, you could not make a game with a low polygon graphics such as games of the first PlayStation because they looked cheap. They did not look on par with the times. And nowadays we're looking at the resurgence of games such as mouthwashing, for example, which we love quite a lot, which is a game with really low polygons, simple textures.
Yeah, crunchy graphics.
Graphics.
It's made to look old school, and it's a choice.
Yeah, it's an artistic choice in that case. And we actually, players accept that. I'm thinking about the more recent and also Italian Bites with Carol, which is meant to look like an older Disney movies from the early 50s, late 40s, and reflects that kind of style in how it looks, how it plays in some ways, how it tells its story, and so on. It's actually a pretty good spot nowadays to be making games because as long as you make something with passion and something that gives back to the player what they could expect and a great story at the end of the day and something good to play at, they tend to accept it. I think that about like 15, 20 years ago, you could not do that. You could not see games such as like the Princess or smaller production such as an Hollow Knight. You could not make an Hollow Knight like 15 years ago. They would not accept it.
It was an indie game.
Yeah, it was.
It was kind of a bomb.
And it's actually pretty great to be here nowadays as developers.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
How game director says there's a lot of democracy right now in the gaming industry.
I mean, it's quite interesting that you mentioned Hollow Knight because that was a surprise for everybody. I mean, it was one of the few games that actually made Steam going down for an evening. Yeah.
No one here was surprised at Steam.
Yeah, we were not surprised actually.
So like,
not surprised?
Yeah, I mean, I was not 7 million copies surprised, but I expected it to do quite well at launch. So I was expecting like 3 million copies, but 7 million copies on Steam was quite a lot. Quite a lot.
Good for them.
Good for them. Good for them. Really.
I see. I missed out there because I never played the series. I have to admit.
Oh, you did not?
Well, I personally have started playing Hollow Knight just recently, and I just about finished it. So I am ready to dive into the Silksong. But I played it because when Silksong came out, I was like, okay, no, I've been meaning to play this game for a while. It's time. So why not?
You should pick it up. But play Simon the Sorcerer Origins first. Then
of course. I mean, I have so many games to play. I don't want the Simon Sorcerer Origins to be on my pile of shame. So I have to play it, obviously.
I too have a pile of shame. So I totally understand you. There's an old saying in this industry that goes something like, when you start making games, you stop playing games. So, and that's true.
Is that so?
In a way, unfortunately.
It's just that you don't.
Yeah. So, real quick, with preservation wise, are you taking any steps to kind of make sure that this has a degree of longevity? Like it's not going to just be unsupported after several years?
Well, I think that on a technical standpoint, we are aiming at letting the game be playable for as long as possible. Of course, as developers, we expect it to stay with us for quite a long time. On an artistic standpoint and on a design standpoint, sound standpoint, we made all of our efforts into making something that could be timeless for our players to enjoy in a way.
I mean, AJ has a good point here. I mean, just yesterday we released an interview, a podcast episode with Scott Ross, who is the spokesperson of Stop Killing Games, and two things that came into play were like online requirements for playing games, which obviously Simon Sorcerer Origin doesn't have, and the second thing would be copy protection, like De Novo, which is very, very infamous for, being hard on the game performance, causing conflicts on certain PC hardware and stuff.
In some way. I'll point out to our previous answers. So we are taking all of our efforts to make it something that could be timeless and enjoyable for quite a long time.
Yes.
We totally agree with the ideas of Stop Killing Games. I think we're all young and we all grew up with some games that will inevitably become a bit older. We did not want them to become unplayable.
Yes.
As a designer, I had multiple times the desire to study some older games which actually are not available anymore or would not be available if not because of some mysterious hero who kept a copy hidden somewhere and republished it via some secondary channel. And so because of that, I quite agree with that. I want my grandchildren one day to be able to play my games.
We're also all fans of physical copies of games, and though like the market is going towards a direction of way less and less and less physical media, we think it's still important to continue to have that as long as possible.
It's actually depending on the market. I saw just a report yesterday that in Japan there is a surge of optical drives because all the Japanese people now switching from Windows 10 to Windows 11 buy optical drives like Blu-rays and DVD drives because they don't want to give up their physical media when they switch from Windows 10 to Windows 11. But I think that's a really a speciality because nowhere else in the world people are clinging on physical media as much. But interestingly, Federica didn't say much here.
Before you mention that, we can do a follow up in like 25 years when it gets ported over to Scum VM.
We'll play Simon on virtual reality like in your dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. I don't think Simon Sorcerer Origins is based on Scum VM or
but
some.
There's a lot of games that aren't based on that work on it.
Right, that's true.
I mean, you don't have to say that it out loud. So. Just kidding. But you know what? I think that the proposition to check with you in another 25 years, it's actually pretty interesting. So mark the date. It will be October 28, 2050. If I have not become ashes and bones.
Yeah, if the world hasn't collapsed yet.
Yeah. Well, I'll record this podcast from my iron lung.
Let's hope not. And maybe we'll talk about the day we spoke about the physical release of Simon and the fact that game don't actually have to get old, but get more classical and still be enjoyable by newer generations of players.
Yeah, absolutely. So what were you saying, Jörg?
Yeah, I was saying Federica didn't say a lot yet during this interview.
Well, you could try asking something about the animation department.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk more about the animation. I mean, we only mentioned it once, and that was the sloppy walking style. But I guess there is much more.
You with the damn walking style. You keep bringing it up.
Yeah, I'm keeping it up because it was one of the.
But it was intent. But the way it gets put is like it was like a mistake. But that's what it was supposed to look like.
I know, but you know how cruel people on the internet are. They're not taking it as a design.
The character walks like I walked when I was that age.
Is that so? Yeah.
It's the slouch. Yeah. It's the slouch.
So perhaps you can bring in a bit more about your part of the animation and the decision process, and I mean, how do you go about animating a point-and-click adventure in the comic artistic style?
We'll have a real-time translation.
Yes.
Come è apprezzato il passaggio in animazione e l'adattamento in animazione di un'avventura punta e clicca, che decisioni eseguite? Se preferisci in italiano glielo traduciamo
noi, See, like this is what I was saying before we started podcasting. I was explaining like sort of how we do it. Jörg's got the prepared questions, and I kind of come in with stuff that like weird questions that no one ever asks. Like I don't know anything about how animating a game is, and this is now interesting. Now I'm curious now because you don't think of this stuff often. It's just something that you take for granted.
Right.
Well,
in the story.
You can go with a more technical explanation at that point. Come lavori?
Right.
I made the animation on Photoshop, a very strange program for animate. But I would
she had to challenge herself with this choice of software to create the animation of the game, because it's not quite
wrong choice. Wrong choice. But things that you learn during the process. I started with make rough animation. Fabrizio brought me the
I
the description of the animation. I reinterpret it, and I put the animation part of me, and
I imagine there's some because it's that hand-drawn aesthetic. I assume there's a lot of like overlap between animation and the art department, sort of. You know, like I imagine you work together a lot to make that happen.
Yeah, you actually do.
Yes, we designed the characters so that they could be animated as easily as possible. As you know, 2D animation requires some ease of use. We did not have the amount of people to work on like complex designs, so we went for simple and easy in a way that was manageable for a small team at small things.
That also goes well with the environment.
Yeah, with the environment, like the characters interact with the environment a lot, so there's a lot of moving parts that need to be coordinated, even just in engine when building the actual game. A lot of the animation and setup for the animation was done directly in the engine, because you needed to know where the character exactly was to interact with an object in the correct way. That was tricky. It's like puzzle.
Yeah, it's like a game
within a game. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so kind of the company name Small Thing Studio means you are also a small team of
We
We
were,
creators.
were.
we were,
At the
we
very
were,
Where?
beginning, we were a small
we were
team.
like 5 people.
Yeah.
Nowadays we are more than 20 people. I
More
think.
than 20.
Yeah, more than 20 people.
So it grew during development of Simon the Sorcerer, kind of.
During the latest stages of the development of Salmon Origins, we grew quite a lot. And since we are working on multiple projects nowadays, we need a larger staff of people.
Ah, okay.
We won't reveal much about our other projects. Yeah,
Of course, yeah. But it's yeah.
we're completely focused on the launch of Simon the Sorcerer Origins.
Right. But it's good to know. It's good to know you're not setting all the money on one horse. You know?
Oh no, that was the plan from the start, like to diversify.
Yeah.
And to work on many different projects, to always in a manageable scale, but in a way that would constantly give us something to do, that was not focusing on only one project, and if that one project doesn't go well for any reason.
Right. So that's actually a good question. How big is the game? What's the average amount of playing hours you use?
So our original estimation were around 10 hours. From what I learned from the reviewers so far and the players, I can confirm this duration, which is quite a lot for an adventure. If you think that you can actually complete Return to Monkey Island in about 5 hours, I needed like 4 hours and a half. Some other people managed to complete it in 3 hours and a half. We actually tried to speed run the game quite a lot of times. The record time is a bit low, but we are talking about a true speedrunner who tried to complete the game without completing any secondary things to do, skipping every single dialogue, not exploring at all, knowing everything you could do, skipping every single full motion and every single cutscene of the game. And he needed about 2 hours to complete the game. But we are talking about a speedrunner. Our estimation is that you need about 10 hours to complete the game. There are about 60 different environments in the game, more than 10 characters. 50? More than 50. 56. We are closer to 60 environments. We have about 10 or more NPC in the game. Also, talking NPC. Then we have also background NPC in the game. We have about 100 different objects. We have new mechanics. There are lots of tiny details that you can enjoy.
And some puzzles are tricky in the good way. You need to use your brain to get them.
They are very logical and at the same time very challenging.
Yes.
Yeah.
We very consciously did not want to make the game too easy.
Yeah. And that's also one of the reasons because of we do not have an int system inside the game. In a way, we wanted to create an experience closer to a classical approach to point-and-click adventures, but also a secondary choice, which is already paying off actually, is that we wanted to let the community of players talk about the game, experience the game like they were in the early 2000s.
Ask your friends or your peers.
Yeah.
Help with the game instead of just checking an int
system inside the game. As you can hear, or actually, I think I'm not a very a great fan of the int system they chose to put into Return to Monkey Island. It was their choice. Of course, I respect that as a designer. I would have not put that inside my point-and-click adventure, actually.
Yeah, everybody has different
Everybody has
opinions on that. Yeah.
We wanted to give more of that classical feeling, and we wanted our community to actually share their experience, the place where the puzzle where they got stuck, the puzzle that they really enjoyed, the puzzle that required them to do a lot of lateral thinking or to check a very specific detail, the puzzle that were actually just fun to solve and a bit faster. So yeah, we wanted that feeling for our game. We went in that direction since the beginning of the project. And as I said, it's already paying off. I'm already seeing a couple of people sharing their experience, talking about how they can solve the puzzles, giving each other hints. Actually, really like that kind of feeling when I play and when I see a game.
Cool.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that you mentioned you want to make a classical experience like you would have in the past. I mean, on one side that's noble. On the other side, you really can't have that experience anymore, because back then, when I had those games and I played them, we didn't have internet where you could just look up on YouTube or on a Steam forum what other people say, how you could solve that riddle that you are stuck on. You had to consult friends at school and what their opinion is, and stuff.
Or buy the magazines.
Or buy the magazines, exactly.
Exactly.
We did our best with what we had, which is the internet. So.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, maybe you cannot talk to your friend on the phone or at the playground, but you can write about the game in a forum. You can send a DM via some social. You can check a video on YouTube and then comment and so on. Actually,
that's also a form of community, which is very important.
It's a more modern approach to communities.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So where can people get the game and find out more?
Well, you can actually buy the game on every single digital store, on every platform, if you wish to have a digital version of the game, which will be unlocked at midnight, I think, in about 6 hours, 5 hours and a half from this moment. You can also buy your physical copy on the EMIN website.
And not retailers like on Amazon too.
And also resellers. You can also the game is available with a PC version, PS5 and Switch in physical version. The PC version does not contain a disc, but a code that you can redeem on Steam, actually.
But it has all the goodies for the physical.
All the goodies, exactly.
Which was
yeah.
I noticed on Steam also that there is a Mac version, so yes.
Yeah, and Linux.
Yeah, and we have a Linux release also. And the game is fully compatible with Steam Deck. If you prefer that sort of gameplay, you can also play with the touchscreen version, both on the Switch and also on Steam Deck, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
it does. Okay. The Xbox version is only released in digital currently, but you can have the physical version on PS5 and Switch if you are playing on console. If you get the deluxe edition of the game, the physical version will have the art book, which we call the history art book, because it also contains some insights about the development and the world building of Simon.
Yes, there is a lot of process for making the game inside the art book.
You also get the physical release of the complete soundtrack of the game, minus recastling. And also you get everything that is present in the light version of the game, so the manual, the reversible cover, and you also get the Pony DLC.
The Pony DLC, which is a fun little tidbit.
Yeah. Can we share what it does?
And there is also the deluxe edition in digital version, which has all the same things but only in digital format.
Right. When I first saw the shop page of Inin, I thought that the Walkman DLC would be a physical release.
Oh,
But then I figured out it's not a physical Walkman included, unfortunately.
That would have been really fun. Who knows what the future holds about goodies about Simon the Sorcerer, actually.
I mean, if you ever make a successor, you have to be quick, because there's only one company in the world, in China, that is still producing new cassette mechanics. So there's not much choice anymore, you know.
We are quite resourceful. We would ever find a way. But the DLC, while it is just digital, will let you play the game with the original classical soundtrack. Yes. So if you want a more classical approach to the adventure, you want to feel completely immersed in those 90s vibes, you'll have a way to do so.
And it will be included for free in the first week.
If you buy the game on Steam, sure, you can have the DLC for free during the first week after the release. So from now until next week. Also, if I'm not mistaken, tonight the game will be released with a small discount on Steam. So if you want to, and probably on every single platform of release. So if you want to grab your digital copy of Simon the Sorcerer, this first week is the best time to get it. As a fan and as a player, I really suggest you grab your digital deluxe physical version. It has a lot of goodies, and I love this cover. This is my favorite cover for the game. Just ignore my potato gamer. It's really cool. Unfortunately, you cannot have signed it by Mike and John Wood, but this is mine. So.
Cool.
Very awesome.
Thanks for taking the time and talk to us about it.
We'll put links to where people can get everything down in the podcast description.
Great.
Down
Thank
there
you, guys.
Right.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you again about Simon, and we really hope to talk to you again in a not too far future.
Yeah, I mean, if you have other projects that are retro IP related, be our guest. I mean,
we cannot say much, but we'll talk to each other again. Pretty sure about that.
I mean, there are not many IPs left that are dead and waiting for a successor. At least in the adventure field. Not that I remember. So
there's so many games that are looking for a reboot.
Right, but I guess in the classical point-and-click adventure genre, we got it pretty much covered.
Well, who knows?
Right?
Who knows?
Who knows what's beautiful?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some series of whose name I forgot right now, unfortunately.
They must be real popular.
Oh yes. Yes, they are popular, but I forgot totally the name because my mind is totally focused on this interview right now, so I totally blacked out all the other.
Get it for the entirety of the night. Our lips are sealed, so
we're not talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But it's interesting how much sometimes predictions come true. I remember doing past interviews with composers and artists, and then turns out a few weeks down the road they are actually working on those games I predicted. So sometimes the truth is not far, you know. Yeah. Now I really wonder what the names are, but never mind.
Thanks to you guys. Thank you. So get ready to play Simon the Sorcerer Origins. We are very much looking forward to your opinion on the game, and we'll make sure to check this episode once it comes out. And now we have a long night of partying that's still awaiting.
Yes.
Yeah, let's hope the Valve servers don't crash like with the other game, but I guess it won't.
Well, if it crashes, honestly, it means a lot.
That's probably a good thing. Yeah.
It's actually a good thing. Yeah.
Except it doesn't crash for another game when we're launching out.
Well, we are the only big release today, so if it's crashing for someone, it's crashing for us. Now, if you don't mind, I have a large bottle with my name on it, and I really need it.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for taking the time, especially the power of 4.